I knew that the calendar was borrowed. I knew that the Gregorian calendar, the calendar that we use, borrowed heavily from the pagan calendar so that Christians could push an agenda. Absolutely. What I was thinking of, because I have tarot brain turned on, is when you're talking about the thinning of the veil, and I thought, oh, the high priestess, because in RWS, right away,
Yes.
Yes, right. And then I was, because she has a veil behind her. And then I was like, ooh, what other cards? The Hierophant isn't specifically a veil, but to me, there is a barrier behind the throne. And I started to look at the cards, RWS, just really quickly while you're talking. And I pulled a third card, the Nine of Cups. The tablecloth could serve as a veil. This is just an interesting way for me to approach the cards specifically in this event, because there is a thinning of the veil this time of year. Like this, it doesn't matter who says what's true. If there's a large enough belief around it, it's true. In my mind, right? So there is a thinning of a veil. And any of these cards, because I'm tarot-centric, could be more open to me or us in this event because of that. So I'm really enthused. Not that I'm using RWS, I'm going to be using the Cozy Witch. So it's totally different pictures, but but you know, the meaning is there. So yes, very cool. And thank you for that. Thank you for that background on Halloween. I was kind of like, oh, I didn't even look up the holiday. Like I didn't Google it.
I was just thinking that when every time we get together, so this is the third time Elizabeth and I have done Two Witchy Women, and every time we get together, we try to inform or educate. We spend some time educating ourselves about the topic, and then we share it with the group. And I thought, oh shit, we haven't even talked about Halloween and what it means to us. So this is a bit different than the events that we usually do, in that today we're actually, it's not instructional, as you all know. You read the directions. It's a group read. And then I don't think we have any VIP members signed up. So we're going to tweak it just a little bit. We're going to do a group read. It's going to be a little bit extended. I do not believe this event will last the 3 hours since we don't have any of our VIP members signed up. I've said group read like 15 times now, Elizabeth. We're going to do that portion. And then I think we'll go right into the question and answer. We'll probably draw a winner while you all are present, so you know who is winning. I don't know. We don't see anybody in costume. I think the rules were you have to be in costume in order to participate in the. We'll have to talk behind the scenes and see if we're still going to draw a winner with all you non-costumed participants. Just joking. We're glad you're here. We really are glad you're here.
I mean, you don't know how we dress normally, Valerie. So.
Oh, maybe that is your costume.
Say, my costume is actually invisible.
Yes.
Oh, see, there
So
you
now
go.
it's between Greg and I. Yeah.
There you go.
Which shyster wins, right?
I love it. I love it. Well, I'll show y'all my costume. It says, "One day a year, I get to be me."
I want to.
That's my Halloween.
Go
ahead. Yes, Elizabeth, I want to see your full.
I'm wearing an evening gown, and I have my.
Love it.
See, okay, so I'm dressed up as the element of water as ice. Bring it home. That's right.
I love it. I love it. Ice, baby. Or is it more like an Elsa ice?
Oh my God, I know. I was totally into Frozen. I did my nails and I'm like, these are Frozen nails, but I'm not like a Frozen fan. But no, I you know what? Is it okay if I take just a minute? I have a little blurb as me in character.
Yes, please.
Okay. So here's me. I am the embodiment of water, transformed by the quiet power of stillness into the essence of ice. Like the elder Futhark rune, Isa, I represent clarity, patience, and steadfastness. The frozen waters hold potential beneath the surface, a force waiting to shift and flow once again. My blue and gold gown reflects the depths of the ocean, shimmering with the wisdom of water, while my lace overcoat wraps me in the elegance of frost, intricate and delicate, yet enduring. As a tarot reader, I channel this icy energy with calm precision, unveiling hidden truths within each card, like secrets encased in crystal. In my readings, I am both the frozen moment and the inevitable thaw, offering guidance that is serene, reflective, and deeply transformative. Like the rune Laguz, which also connects to water, I invite the flow of intuition, yet temper it with the sharp focus of Isa, allowing insight to emerge from the stillness of my presence. Hold on. I also read Elder Feedback Runes, and those got kind of tied into that little character development there. I love Halloween.
I love that so much. I love it. Thank you. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with the group read, and this will be extended since we have a smaller group. So we're going to extend the group reading. So you're all going to be able to benefit from this. So here in the beginning, I'm going to ask everyone to just take a couple of minutes, a couple of deep breaths. If you have something specific that you're seeking guidance on, go ahead and put that out to the universe. If you're just here for the general merriment of the event, that's fine as well. And Elizabeth and I are going to take a couple of minutes to tune in to the collective energies before we begin delivering messages through Tarot and Oracle. Okay. So a little bit about Two Witchy Women. I will say of all the tarot readers I know, and I know quite a few because I've taught, even some of them I've taught them, of all the tarot readers I know, I deeply resonate with Elizabeth and her style of reading because she likes to go deep. She loves to really research each card. She'll spend time journaling on the cards and figuring out what's really going on with the symbols, not only with the symbols on her deck, but with the symbols from Rider-Waite Smith. So I love that too. I love the deep dives on tarot, and I just love tarot as a metaphysical tool, as a spiritual tool. So I think that's why we resonate so well with one another. One of the best tarot readers I know, and definitely if you're looking for a really in-depth reading with the tarot cards, Elizabeth is your gal. So that's why we resonate so much. As far as the cards, we're going to do, Elizabeth, we didn't really talk about this, but let's do 3 tarot cards each. Does that feel good? 3 tarot cards each, and then we'll go into oracle cards, and we'll just see where the reading leads us from there. The deck I am using is the deck I use every October. Oh, I'm going to have to shut my background off so that y'all can actually see what I'm holding up. And that's not how you shut it off. I am reading from Ghost and Spirits Tarot by Lisa Hunt. Each card in the tarot deck is represented by a different ghost, and there's a whole little short explanation on that ghost story. So that's the deck I'm reading from. Elizabeth, what tarot deck are you reading from?
I'm pulling from the Cozy Witch, total brain. What? The Cozy Witch. I actually will be, every Tuesday I cover a different deck in my own collection, and I've already covered this. I'll be putting it on YouTube so you can find it out. But the Cozy Witch is a great deck. I personally love it. And it also, the creators of this deck collaborated another time. You know, the Oracle might come before the Tarot deck, but they also have an Oracle deck. So I'll be pulling from that specific Oracle deck as well. I do have over here my Shadowland Tarot. I might pull from that. I'm not sure. I actually recently organized my desk, so I don't have all 15 decks that I'm working with. They're in the box back there, right? So
15 decks. See what I'm saying?
I know I had to tidy up so I could do this event and not be like, what card?
I love it. I love it. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and tune into the collective. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to draw my cards. Elizabeth, you let me know when you're ready.
Oh, something just jumped. I can start if you just want me to start.
Yeah.
Okay, so I did put 3 cards down. I put down the four of Pentacles, the 3 of Cups, and the 2 of Wands. Okay, I'm gonna pull a 4th one because I can't stand that if I get the 4th suit. Let me just pull one real quick, and it doesn't usually. What did I get?
I mean, 4 is my favorite number. Should we both pull 4?
Yes, because I just got a swords. I have a representation from each suit in front of me. This does not happen. I don't know what it has. Like that, a random pull that provided each suit with just 4 cards. I don't know the numbers on that, but they're high. Okay, so we have to begin the 4 of Pentacles, the 3 of Cups, the 2 of Wands, and our swords is being represented by the hierarchy of the King of Swords. So in looking at that,
Hang on.
Sorry.
I'm mute. Yeah. Thank you.
there we go. Okay, I was like, what? I'm like squirrel. But to see these cards come together, the 4 of Pentacles here, this is not based on RWS, Rider-Waite-Smith. So the message is intact, but it's delivered in a different artistic value. So the 4 of Pentacles here, it shows a woman grounding. And in this group, we have that energy. But it's her choice of how to ground. She has chosen to sit on a super comfy cushion. She's got, you know, her purse, she's got her water, she's got her favorite deck. It's what she wants to do, how she wants to do it, and when she wants to do it. That is exactly what I'm seeing in this event today. You all chose to be here at this time, even having to follow multi-step instructions to make it here. This is definitely a choice, right? I would have been like, oh, I'm out. That's too many buttons. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm horrible. But this energy today is so welcoming and grounding the 4 of Pentacles because you chose this. You literally said, yeah, I'm going to show up. And then you did. Then you owned yourself and you showed up. You value the money you spent and you showed up. You respect yourself. You showed up. And then for the second card, we have the 3 of Cups, which kind of really brings it home. The 3 of Cups in RWS traditional is let's get together, but it's people you choose to get together with, not just let's go to a party, the 4 of Wands, the 6 of Wands, let's hang together, the 3 of Cups. Let me call you, text you, email you, reach out to you personally and say coffee at 2, Starbucks. No, not Starbucks, like that. I read that article. Another coffee house that doesn't abuse the planet so much on the corner at 2 p.m. would be awesome. Again, we have that choice of friendship, the choice of camaraderie. We're seeing that echoed through 2 of the 4 cards now. The 2 of Wands, oh God, hello, solitary moment in the card there. We go from this collaborative effort, individuals coming together to form a group reading, to the 2 of Wands, which in this card, based on this art, is a moment of action in passivity. She is sitting watching a candle burn, a moment of action in passivity. That's the 2 of Wands here. So each of you coming together, I'm in a cozy little seat. Valerie's in her cozy little seat, right? We each have our little cushions or our coffees. I've got a LaCroix going right there, maybe some tea. We made it our own. And we can sit here quietly and listen. We can join in as often as we'd like in the form that we enjoy. We're making this moment our reality collectively and as an individual. And now let's bring it on home with the King of Swords. Again, all 4 suits. I'm flipping out. I'm going to journal this later going, oh my God, this happened. I got all 4 suits. The King of Swords. Whew. Oh, I just got it like a moment there. I'm wondering if this isn't someone's signifier card. Not everyone has chosen a signifier. It's not at all necessary to do so. It's just a fun little exercise. Mine happens to be the King of Wands right now. This is the King of Swords. But in this moment with this card, the King of Swords, being of the suit of swords, is about intellect. It's an air sign, airhead. Think about your brain, your mind. And it's when to say something and how to say it. How do you articulate your thoughts? Do you believe that you have the confidence to do so when you feel appropriate? That kind of thing. The king does. The king's always just going to say it. Y'all can just say it. Y'all can just think it. Much like a tarot reader right now, just letting that word vomit go. But it's a great release. We do have a court card. We do have a king. So sits up high in the hierarchy. We're supposed to look up to this individual, but everybody should always have a chance to just say what they want. You can go to your mirror and say it to your mirror or your puppy or your goldfish or your friend or your cards, but you should always, everyone on this planet should have an opportunity to speak freely about how they feel. And that's the King of Swords in this moment. As Valerie and I together bring it home in a group reading, which I can feel my skin right now. I am so much energy. I love this room. Woo! Valerie, would you like to offer on that? And I can keep going too. I'm reining it in because I'll talk for like an hour and a half, y'all. So I got to check in with Valerie.
I love that. Elizabeth, can I see those cards? Because I don't have that deck.
Yes. I didn't know if I should. Wait a minute. the camera's up there. This is the Four of Pentacles, right? Is that not so much better than the Four of Pentacles in RWS? And it looks so uncomfortable. He's sitting on a cement bench. She's on a cushion. You know, she's got her, oh, there we go. Her favorite deck. I mean,
Yes.
I love it. And a window, she's got sunlight. That's the Four of Pentacles. Okay, Three of Cups. Hello, love this deck. Let's get some coffee and some pastries. Let's come together in an environment that we can all benefit from and be comfortable with. And the
Are
Three
there
of
hats levitating? Are there hats levitating in the air?
They're hung. You can see the string. It's a decoration. The shop's decorated.
Oh.
Isn't that cute? I didn't even realize that. And I've been reading with this deck for like a year. I love it. And look, they made it available to all of them. You know, this place needed a ramp or something. I mean, in all seriousness, it's like, how do we do this for the benefit of all? Change, adapt, evolve. All right, so then we've got Two of Wands, a solitary card in RWS, and here is the candle. Activity and passivity. And it's a darkened room with a solitary, two lights. I was going to say a solitary light, but the candle, we have artificial and natural light, the element of fire, and then the King of Swords. And a lot of times, no, she's on a, what do you call this? Not an electric, that's not plugged in. It's not electric, I'm guessing. So this artist uses tech from different eras. I mean, I haven't seen a fax machine pop up, but it still can go a little bit further back. To me as a person, knowing that, I mean, I was on a rotary phone, you know, so I love how she will bring in different, almost artifacts of time, to help, I think, a lot of different types of readers at different ages be like, oh, I know that one. They were stretching that, you got one phone in the house in the kitchen and you're stretching that cord to get some privacy. That's the kind of stuff you might see in a deck like this. I love it. I just love it.
I love it. I love your rings. And that's so interesting. You do like this. That's our generation. You know, they do like this now, the kids. When you say act like you're talking on a phone, they do this.
I didn't know that. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I know there's telltale signs, right? Oh, call me.
Yeah.
What is that? What is
Yeah.
this?
I love it. I love it. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about the cards that I drew. I did draw 4. And with this particular deck,
Hey,
like I
Valerie,
said,
Valerie, can you make your picture big again?
oh, sure.
Can you see you big again? Sorry.
I mean, I love the attention, but I'll
There we
share.
go. Okay. Thanks
With
for
this
doing that.
particular deck, like I said, there is a ghost or a spirit for each card. So I do go to the book on every card to see why they chose that particular character or entity to represent the energy of the card. So interestingly enough, I got 3 major arcana in response to the collective and just 1 of the minor arcana. So the difference between major arcana and minor arcana represents the fool's journey. The fool being card 0 represents us as we transition and make our journey through life, our life journey. And it represents the different archetypes and situations that we would encounter throughout the span of our life. So the major arcana points to big overarching themes, whereas the minor arcana is kind of like, this is what's going on in your day-to-day life. These are some energies that might be present for you in your mix it up human existence, not in your big life journey kind of big picture way. So interesting that we have 3 major arcana cards, because I feel like for the collective, this is pointing to, I'll tell you, the energy that I'm picking up is picking up on life changes, on life shifts, not on the, can I get a raise at my job, but on the, I'm going to switch jobs and maybe even switch careers. We're talking about big overarching changes is the energy that I'm feeling from the collective at this time. I feel like there's a lot of searching and looking for clarity on what needs to shift and change, and people are not looking at the little bitty shifts and change, they're looking at the big changes. So no wonder we got major arcana cards. Elizabeth, do you feel the same? Do you feel like there's a big shift going on? Like that there's a difference in collective energy?
Yeah, and I'm not a big picture kind of gal because it's too much to look at. But when you were saying that, when you said about the thinning of the veil, it was like hit, 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 hit. And so something right now absolutely is definitely like, man, I don't, oh, my head's tingling. Yes, I do. Yes, I feel it, but I don't know how to put it into words.
I love it. I love it. Well, let's keep going. Maybe Spirit will give us the words. So the first card that I drew is the motherfucking sun. That's how I always say that card, because the sun is the most positive card in the tarot for me. And even in reverse, it is still always a positive message. hopeful, inspiring, the sun, the sun, the sun. So I always say the motherfucking sun when I pull this card. I'm going to hold it here for just a moment so that you can see the image represented before I put it down so I can read the book. The sun. The sun comes sort of towards the end of the Fool's journey. It's card number 19 in the Major Arcana, with there only being 21 cards that the Fool visits. So the sun is kind of the culmination. It gives hope, and it shows a full circle kind of in the Fool's life journey. I'm not going to get too far into the interpretation of the sun. I'm going to go to what this deck says. In the Tales of the Grateful Dead, the good-hearted hero pays a dead man's debt and then befriends a stranger on his journey. After bringing a pattern of good fortune, the stranger discloses his true identity as the dead man the hero had kindly helped. Everything has come together in a confluence of joyful exuberance. The circle of positivism exemplifies the return of good karma. All the elements embrace the energy of the sun and ensure that life continues. So I like that. The divinatory meaning, abundance and joy are all encompassing as hard work and kind acts are rewarded. It's important to remember that small joys can culminate into true happiness. So the sun, if you are not in this energy right now, Spirit is saying this energy is always all around you. Where are you focused that you're not seeing it? The sun is coming to shine light in maybe dark areas of your life to bring you joy, to bring you happiness. And I really like how it says small joys. So maybe you're looking for the big picture, the big thing, I see it as a bell. I don't know why Spirit is showing it as a bell, but you know when you reach out and you ring that big bell, like at the end of I don't know, what's that one? I can see it in my brain, the obstacle course where they have to go through all of these obstacles and they reach the top and they have to ring the bell in order to complete it. That thing is what's playing out in my mind, and that kind of feels like life, all of the obstacles in life when we're ringing the bell. But Spirit is showing me you're forgetting all the little joys around along the way. You're forgetting that you successfully jumped over that hurdle before you started trying to swing across the rope or whatever that next obstacle is. So all of those little joys can add up to a big, joyful life. So take time to slow down and ask yourself, where are the little joys in life that you might be missing? And then the next one, I love this so much because Elizabeth just said this is her signifier. It's the King of Wands. The King of Wands, again, let me let you see the image before I read the description. He looks like a woodland person, which is interesting because wands are the energy of fire, represented with the fire. And here we have someone coming out of the woods. I would guess, if I was looking at this card without the definition at the bottom, I would think that's the King of Pentacles, because Pentacles is earth and he's in a forest and it looks like he's even part of the forest. But let's go to the book and see why they are depicting King of Wands this way. I do see Pentacles and Wands in the sense of wooded creatures, woodlands, and fire being, I can see how those would relate to each other because I think of wood as being kindling for fire. But let's see, King of Wands, Herne the Hunter. Herne the Hunter, who appears in Shakespeare's The Merry Wives of Windsor, was an imposing, ghostly figure on a phantom steed. Legend describes Herne as a beloved huntsman who was in service of Richard II. After sustaining a mortal energy, he was saved by a wizard who tied sacred antlers to his head. But betrayal led to disgrace, prompting Herne to hang himself. Ooh, sorry, trigger warning. Herne stands confident and strong like the trees and blends magically into their organic matter. The trees are symbolic of the 3 levels of the psyche. Sensing the presence of spirits may be an indication that one is dissolving the barriers of rational thinking and allowing innate sensory to influence perception. So for me, that last statement had the most meaning for today's reading, especially since it's a Halloweeny reading and we just talked about the veil being thinner. Sensing the presence of spirits may be an indication that one is dissolving the barriers, hence thinning the veil of rational thinking and allowing innate sensory to influence perception. Innate sensory. We were all born psychics, allowing your psychic abilities to come to the surface. The divinatory meaning, someone in the position of authority may offer advice, and you may need to assume a leadership role and be willing to take risk to make things happen. King of Wands. Wands, again, is fire energy, and this suit as a whole, Wands is fire in action. So the entire suit of Wands indicates some kind of action. But here we have the King of Wands. So I feel like this is asking you, what have you not been taking action on as it relates to your intuition, your inspiration, and your creativity? Because those are all fire energies. And this is a king, which means he's achieved mastery of this level. And that energy is available to you too. But unless you practice it, unless you follow that inspiration from spirit, you're not going to achieve that mastery level because you keep putting it off. So this is spirit saying, what have you been putting on the back burner that is now time to be present in your life to lead you forward? I keep hearing this message in the collective that creativity, inspiration, imagination, all of these creative things that we often as a society push to the side. What are you daydreaming for? You've got work to do. Why are you spending so much time coloring pictures? That's never going to pay off. You need to pick up a real skill in life. We spent so much time as a society putting aside creativity, inspiration, all of those arts. Not even in schools, they're electives. They're not required courses. You want to do something artsy? Oh, that's an elective. You know, you can do that on the side, but we need you to know you're reading and writing. But I feel like as a society, we're realizing that all of those things we've pushed to the side so far are all of the things we actually need to move forward. And so we're bringing them back to the forefront, and spirit is bringing them back to our attention. The Chariot is the next one. Talk about action. So that King of Wands is like asking you, what have you not taken action on? And then we have the Chariot. Card number 7, another major arcana. The Chariot is about moving forward. It's usually about fast moving action. It's about willpower. Let's go see, let me hold that up I kind of did it real quick. It's someone in the winter scene. Hey, Elizabeth, it's a winter scene. Over there being the ice queen. All right, and there's ghosts and ghouls overhead. So let's see what this card is about. The Chariot, the wild hunt. In the darkness of night, a terrifying howl rips through a storm-laden sky. A savage phantom army of hideous horses and wild dogs hunt down the damned and carry bad omens for those who dare to spy. Their ruthless display knows no mercy as their unearthly wails foreshadow death. The volatile sky contrasts with the placid, snow-covered valleys below. This signifies the polarities between life and death, light and shadow, the conscious and the unconscious. And that has very much been linked with the idea of the Chariot. The Chariot is a turning point in the Fool's journey. It's after he's seen all of his parental figures, after he's gone through the foundations of his beliefs, he comes upon the Chariot and he's beginning to contemplate, so far in my life, I've done everything through willpower. Is there something more? And the next part of his journey is exploring what else can help him in his journey besides just getting down and working and making it happen in willpower. So this makes a lot of sense because it's talking about that balance between both those sides, balance between life and death. If you had just seen it like this, it would look like a beautiful winter scene, and he's just making his way through. But here we see treacherous. So it is a balance between what is your eye drawn to, what's going on. So I like that I understand why they chose that scene and those characters for the Chariot. I don't believe like anything is after us. I don't believe that is the message. I instead believe it's a little bit more of the divinatory meaning of the card, which is, this is the time to take action. Oh, again with the action. Embrace challenges with an air of calm control. You can determine your destiny by recognizing the dark that lurks beyond the horizon and take steps to assure a successful journey through uncertainty. You can determine your destiny by recognizing the dark that lurks beyond The horizon is of your own making. We create our own fears. We live within beliefs, restrictive, limiting beliefs based upon those fears. And when we finally stare and look darkness in the eye, so to speak, we realize it was all just made up. So now is the time to take a real evaluation of what might have been holding you back from action. Really look it in the eye and ask yourself, is that even valid? Am I just making this all up? I'm spending a long time, Elizabeth. Is there anything else you want to jump in and say? Are you getting any hits on these cards that you want to share before I go to the last one?
I am. Thank you. Yes. So for the sun card, I got a hit. You were talking about good karma with the sun. And I was thinking that for some reason I've got the runes on my brain today, like more than the tarot. But there's I know it's weird. There's a rune Dagaz, D-A-G-A-Z, and it's essentially like sunrise. It's day, dawn. But the idea of when these runes were created, approximately 1,000 years ago. So every day that you survived was a miracle. Every morning that the sun met you and you knew you were drawing breath was a godsend. You know, like you were really grateful that you didn't get eaten in the night or your partner wasn't slaughtered at war, whatever was happening, you know. So it made me really embrace with the gods and the way that you shared the sun card that a new day is truly a new day. It's a new possibility. It's new potential. Yesterday is not today. We do not need to bring that baggage up here and put it right next to us so we can see it. No, we don't need to. And then just now with the chariot, which was, I have that deck. Valerie and I were talking about this. It's a little intense for me.
It is. For me too.
When I saw that character, I loved how you blocked off the top to see just the bottom. And I was like, oh my God, that person chose to leave. They left the forest to see the trees, like can't see the forest for the trees. They left to get a clearer view. And in the chariot, we're not exactly saying, well, this is what's happening to you and this is why you need to go forward or what. We're just saying with the chariot, you have the energy of momentum on your side. So you can choose to get a clearer view, and that chariot will definitely take you there. In this case, that character is facing an open expanse of barren, icy field and some freaking ghosts, you know, and they still chose to get a clearer view of their environment so that they could better understand how to proceed. And that's some scary stuff because I will keep my blinders on. I will stay hidden in the forest. I'll wait till it's clear to come out. I don't carry a lot of chariot energy with me. I'm not one of those. Let me get out in front and see what's going on. But that person certainly epitomized the chariot to me. That was an amazing card.
I love it. I love it. All right. Last tarot card for the collective is Temperance. A nice peaceful scene. And Temperance is actually the card for Sagittarians. So that's really cool that we're pulling this. I'm a Sagittarius, almost Sagittarius season. Temperance, card number 14. Let me hold it up there just a moment. So when I read the description, we know what they're talking about. Card number 14. Temperance, as I know Temperance to be, it's represented by a non-binary angel with a vessel pouring to both. I always see Temperance as the alchemist of the tarot, in that it's not necessarily that they're pouring to equal out the liquids that's in each one. They're pouring to get the perfect temperance, so to speak. They're pouring to get the perfect measure of whatever it is they're trying to create. So I do see Temperance as the alchemist of the tarot. So if that has meaning to you, apply that in your life. What are you trying to measure out? What are you trying to get the perfect mix to? Can you call in the energy? Can you connect with the divine so that you can more easily figure out what that is? What measure of whatever in your life you need. But let's see, Temperance. Temperance is Swan Maiden. Swan maidens possess the ability to shapeshift into humans by shedding their feathers. Mortal men seeking their affections would confiscate their feathers and domesticate the captive maidens. Now, y'all know that's some bullshit, but let's go on. But if her feather garments were discovered, she would change back into a swan and rejoin her flock. So after he had stolen her, if later on she was able to find where her captor, I'm not even gonna call husband, captor had hidden her feathers, if she was able in life, she would reclaim them and turn back into a swan. The Swan Maiden is partially in the water, symbolizing the unconscious and her ties to primal instinct. Her hands reach for the stone in the moss-covered embankment, dividing the stability of earth and the flow of the water. The Swan Maiden represents the reconciliation of both aspects of her being, spiritual and earthbound, both being intertwined. I really like that story of the Swan Maiden. I've never heard of that before. The divinatory meaning: balance and harmony will guide you between conscious deliberation and the deeper waters of the unconscious. This is a time to let go of the ego and submerge into the waters of deeper insights and inner reflections. Really like that, and I'm tying that back with the other understanding of the fear that we have created for ourselves. How do we let go of that fear? Is we really turn within. We really sit with ourselves and we ask those questions. Did our ego create this fear? Did somebody else create this fear? Is this even my fear? What do I want to do about it now that I've identified it? That ability to submerge yourself into the waters, submerge yourself into the inner self for deeper insights and inner reflection. So I feel like that's the message of temperance. If you feel like your life is out of balance, if you feel like something needs to be brought back right again, or maybe you're trying to create something new and you're not quite sure what the balance is in order to get to that new thing, it's time to pause and really look within and link up with spirit to get that guidance as far as what do you need to do to bring things back into balance so that you can move forward. So that's what I have from Tarot, from Ghosts and Spirits. Any comments on anything I shared, Elizabeth, that last card?
Yeah, actually, I'm just writing it down. And when you said about connecting with spirit, like temperance and balance and alchemy, and you were saying, connecting with spirit, and I thought connecting with spirit is discourse. It's a conversation. It's a conversation with an energetic entity, or however you want to phrase it. But anytime I have a conversation, I got to come to the table knowing that I have to give and receive. It's not a one-way street. So connecting with spirit is practice for connecting with people in the outside world as well. I've never seen it like that, like a way to learn how to operate in my mundane life, my everyday, not mundane, everyday life. Also with temperance, I'm very visual. So when you were talking about temperance, I typically picture the RWS because it's simple. And I was picturing sparkles floating between I'm really into sparkles. Sparkles floating in between the cups. And I would see the sparkles change like a fluid, but change in color just a little bit each time. And I thought the idea here is to not go in thinking, I want it to be a certain way. And that's where balance comes when I get what I want. No, for me, seeing temperance is seeing someone pouring this liquid back and forth and being okay with what it looks like. Because we are changing every moment of every day, every moment of every moment. Like it's always a little bit different. The air is a little bit different. Our thoughts are a little bit different. Our body is a little bit different. And then we have temperance who just consistently pours back and forth. Doing what? Like really, where's the balance or alchemy coming from? It's because she's letting it evolve and be what it is in the moment and not trying to control the outcome. And maybe that's where balance is found and not trying to control the outcome. And this is a major arcana card. This is a big deal. It's a heavy hitter. So she, to use gender, she is pronouns. She's kind of giving me the example of just, oh God, it's an Elsa thing. Just let it go. Just let it go. That came out at the last minute, and I was like, I'm doing my Elsa today. But I love it. And temperance is one of those cards. There's a few cards in the deck where I'm going, I'd rather not. They're hard to read. And temperance is like, really, it's like pulling the world for me. I'm like, I don't want to do this. They're big cards. They're big meanings. And I don't know how that works. Maybe when I'm done, I'll look back with my spiritual tarot deck and go, oh, that's what that was. Now that I've lived a life, I understand. But that was cool. And then the next time we do this event, I'm totally going to be talking longer. Because I was really like, should I cut off or should I cut off? Oh, I'm going to have fun. I'm already planning the next Witchy Women event.
It's so funny. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm not going to say that much. I'll keep it short too. And here I am, the talkative one. Spent like, 20 minutes. Oh my goodness. It's good though. It's spirit-led. It's spirit-led.
Yes.
So now we're going to go and do our oracle cards. And I don't know if you have any picked already. One of the oracle decks that I have available is Witch's Wisdom. I thought that was pretty on theme for our Halloweeny event today. And as I was shuffling, 2 cards popped out. So do you have your cards pulled already, Elizabeth? Do you want to go, or how you want to do it?
You can go. I did pull a card. I'm real big on the card that I don't do jumpers, but the card that I pull is the card I read. And I pulled Mirror for us before the event started, but the deck said I can tell by the way it feels in my hands, I'm going to pull another card. Long answer. I just wanted to be real clear. I did have a card, but I'm like, no, we're doing a different one. So I'll have a card in a second, but I'm loving what you're going to say already without even having heard it.
Well, I'll tell you the 2 cards I got, which I think are just spot on. I got a card called Witch, and they are oracle cards, so we will be reading the description. I card Witch, that's a healer. And another card called Water, that's cleansing. And I just think this is so apropos because I think this is Elizabeth all the way, because she showed up as ice, water manifesting as ice. So a witch and water. At the bottom of water, it says cleansing. I may have already said that. So I just want to see what these cards are about. I'm sure they're messages for all of us. But I was just like, oh my God, it's Elizabeth. Of course, those cards would jump out of the deck. So let's go to Witch first. Oh, there's a card in this deck called Samhain. Samhain. I don't even know how to say it.
Samhain.
Samhain.
Yes.
That like the, yes.
Yeah, like I like that word.
Pig.
Yeah. Lineate. I don't know that word. I'm going to Google it. I like that. And then, but I have only been saying it right for the past like 6 months. My entire life, I was like, Sam Hain. I mean, there was an album called Sam Hain when I was in high school, and I'm going, oh, I like Sam Hain. All right, whatever. I'm half Central now.
Funny. Sam Hain. I love it. Samhain. Okay, I got it now. Samhain. Okay, Witch Healer is the first card. I just love these cards. The pictures on, and they're purple. The theme is purple.
They're so colorful. The colors
are
wow.
Mm-hmm. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay, Witch Healer. What's the message? So these start out with a little incantation poem. Honor who you really are, a natural healer who's come far. The witch in you is very real. Trust your work to help and heal. The magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be, there it is done. And here's the witch's wisdom. I'm gonna have to go back to the beginning of the book because this is subsectioned, meaning there's 3 parts to this message. And let's see what they say each part represents. In the introduction, does it tell me? No, it doesn't. So we're just going to go with it. The witch's wisdom. Mystery and magic of the old ways beckons you to tap into the ancient wisdom of those who walk the path before you, to recognize that you are one and the same. For within your blueprint, you carry the wisdom of the natural healer. The witch within asks you to connect with the knowledge and wisdom that you have accumulated for many lifetimes. For it is time to harness your abilities to help heal yourself and others. Seek the wisdom of teachers who mark the land, such as standing stones and trees within a grove, who have absorbed each detail of spent centuries and hold the key to the past. Gather ingredients from plants and fungi. Unlock your herbal knowledge in order to work with recipes for tinctures, elixirs, and healing potions. You are a wise and strong healer. There is nothing to fear and everything to gain when witch crosses your path. The witch's foresight. You are a natural healer. You have a natural affinity with plants and herbs. Study to qualify as an herbal practitioner. Use complementary medicine and aromatherapy to heal, and you benefit from the healing energies of nature. Honor its rhythms and cycles. Now, this is very poignantly telling you what to do, and this is if it resonates with you. Just because it says study to qualify as an herbal practitioner doesn't mean that's the route you have to take. Maybe you already know an herbal practitioner. Maybe this is spirit just saying maybe it's time for you to check in with your herbal practitioner and see if there's a tea or a tincture that might help you with this part of your journey. So do what resonates with you and for you from this part of the message. And then Witch Revealed is the last section of this message. Nature calls to women and men to walk the craft of the wise in balance, integrity, and honor. By honoring the god and goddess, lord and lady, and understanding the role of the high priestess and priest, a witch can transform and change all she touches for the greater good of all. This is done by combining knowledge and wisdom, both old and new. That feels like the temperance card again. Like, what of the old, what of the new, where do we need to go to find everything that I need to make my path as a healer more beneficial to all that I encounter. So that is witch, healer. And next we're going to go to water cleansing. Let me show you that card again. Water cleansing. And that card, here's the incantation. The spirit of water offers to heal emotions of pain and hurt you feel. Cleanse and refresh, connecting to sea. Dive into your heart and swim. Now you're free. The magic is worked with harm to none, so mote it be, there it is done. I really love the little incantations. So the witch's wisdom. The element of water has surfaced to help you clean up your act. You have been affected by negative thoughts, doubts, and worries. Allow cleansing to wash away any pollution that you are drowning in and release the emotion that is draining your natural vitality and positive outlook. Water seeks out your sensitivity and asks you to tap into your feelings, for you often become overwhelmed when faced with challenging situations and others' demands. Be aware of the difference between your emotions and those of others. Water can soothe, heal, and help you go with the flow. Water reminds you to bless this elixir of life before you bathe or drink of it, and to acknowledge your connection to the ebb and the flow of tides and the pull of the moon. So blessing the elixir of life, blessing your water before you bathe it or blessing before you drink of it might be a ritual that you might want to do if you are working on releasing something or letting go of something or getting your emotions in check, which we all might be working on since we just had that full moon in Aries. That was, on top of being emotional, it was the god of war. So full moon in Aries may have brought up some uncomfortable emotions for you. Mine manifested as very strong frustration. Thank goodness it didn't turn into anger, but I know there are a lot of people who maybe that is what came up for you. So go back into the message of this, using water to cleanse away those emotions that you don't need, and just be thankful that they came up so that now you can wash them away. The last part of the witch's wisdom is water offers you to dive in and uncover your natural psychic abilities and to enhance prophetic dreams that are ready to emerge. So water is also our connection to spirituality. The witch's foresight. You are empathetic. Your sensitivity is a gift. Protect it well. You are experiencing new psychic awareness. Vivid dreams are linked with emotion to be kept in check. Drink more water. Spend time by the sea. Stop trying to go against the natural flow. Those are those messages. And then water revealed. Our bodies, as well as our planet, are made up largely of water. Our emotions are connected to the ebb and flow of the oceans and seas. By working with and acknowledging the element of water, we develop our intuition and flow naturally with life. I find it very interesting that Elizabeth naturally just connected with the element of water for today's event. From women's cycles to birth, blood, and rain, the primordial water's deep mystery calls. Chalice symbolizes water, so that's a callback to tarot. The chalice or cups represent water. And that's the end of the message there. Over in chat, this last full moon word was bellicose. Everybody was fighting. Interesting. Yeah, because it was that Aries energy coming up. And if you're unaware of it, it can kind of take you by surprise. So those are the cards I got. Did you get any additional messages come through for you from witch or water?
Yes. Nope, this side. Oh no, that was a personal note. I can tell you what I wrote down that you made me think of, something that I've been running through my head for months, but it's not necessarily, it's I'm using the word coven because I don't have it's the only word I have. So a gathering of witches, and I also pulled a witch card for my oracle deck. That's what got me caught on this, because you pulled the witch card. And I was thinking about, you know how stars have any amount of points. You draw the star, right? So I think that covens, when represented by a star, each point is related to a gift, a modality, a clair, a way of thinking that an individual that will then become a group will stand on each point. And that's how you know your coven is complete. So if your coven starts with a 4-pointed star, you only need 4 gifts, right? Or 4 types of people. Now, I'm currently studying the Enneagram, which breaks down the human personalities into a system of 9 types. There are only 9 points. Now, we're nuanced, guys, so ultimately we can each have up to 27, really, but we'll just say 9. When you were reading about the witch and me pulling the witch, I'm like, there's something here about building the coven. See, Valerie and I like what she was talking about. I'm talking about this, but Valerie and I kind of do like this. Let's do the academic approach and just break it down and then build it back up. Now, am I really going to start a coven? And maybe not, but I can give you the blueprint
Please
of an
do.
exceptional coven. I keep talking about it, but
I want to join.
I know it's so new to me. I'd have to start a meetup group. Oh my God, there's a new meetup group for me. Never mind. If I do the meetup group, it makes it real because I show up and I mod and we learn, right? So I'll start. But fascinating thoughts on the whole coven or circle. I'm trying to think of a different word just because, something else you said when you were reading too. I was thinking about witches, witchcraft, and how we have definitely exploited, harmed, and killed people in this country. And their blood, in essence, flows into pentacles of the earth and remains there. And their genetics are part of the substrate. Like their blood sinks through the soil. It rests on rocks, is dried by the sun and washed by the rain. It's part of our system still. It's still in our air and in our body, Mother Gaia. We're still living with the women who were tortured hundreds of years ago. It blew my freaking mind, Valerie, when you're reading the Oracle card, because I love cartomancy, period. That I was like, damn. So that's where I went with your cards.
I love that. That's amazing. Please start a coven, because when you were talking about covens and stars and 9 points, I got full body chills. I was like, oh my God, I want to join her coven right now.
Okay, I'll when
do I have to get a
tattoo?
It, what do I have to do?
I think I will. I think at the least I'm going to start a meetup group and we'll just come together and coven talk, or I don't know what I'll call it, something like that. And we'll I'll have a blueprint, but we'll flesh out around that blueprint. Because until I hear the right reader reading the right card, the right message coming in, I don't know yet. You know what I mean? It's like I'm tripping along on this path going, what? Oh shit, that's why? Okay, I'll do that. And then, what? Oh, okay. But I love it. That's how I do best. Did you want me to move ahead with the cards I pulled? Were you good with, okay. Yeah, please. So I pulled 2 Oracle cards. Typically, I'm a 1-card girl, but Valerie pulled 2. So I was like, well, I'll pull 2. I pulled a witch card, like Valerie, amazing. And then I pulled, now this is Oracle. We do have a card in tarot called the Tower. This is not that card. This is an Oracle card the artist has chosen to call the Tower. So like Valerie, I'll start with the witch. And the witch here is card number 27. That's just relevant to the book, but 27 is 2 + 7 or 9, if the number 9 is of significance. So the witch card here, I'll hold it because I love the take that this artist has. She's standing in front of her wardrobe. On one side, she has a sword, on the other, a baseball bat. She's got some shoes, she's got some clothes, she's ready for whatever the day throws at her. She's got her witch hat. I love this deck. So witch itself in the book is justice is coming. They say that whatever we do comes back to us the same 3 times, the same times 3. If a person's intentions are well-meaning, then that good energy will come back to them in buckets. If a person's intentions are to do harm, then you get the picture here. Either way, the universe is getting ready to deliver its justice. This person might be you. If so, you should handle it with grace and learn from your mistakes. Otherwise, this most likely applies to someone who's caused harm to you or your loved ones. And I want to flash back really quickly to what I was saying about the Temperance card when I saw it visually in my head and how she was pouring back and forth sparkles. She was totally unconcerned with the color, the viscosity. It didn't matter. It's that there was flow. So with this witch card and saying the universe is going to deliver justice, I don't believe it's a time of, oh, did I screw up? No, it's a time of believing I am here doing the best I can with what I have, period. I'm not looking at the universe coming at me and going, you better get your ass in gear. No, it's the universe giving me a hug because it's saying, I know you're doing the best you can with what you have. And I know you do that every damn day. So kudos, Elizabeth. So the witch here is just about personal strength, key 8 in the major arcana strength card. personal involvement, making sure I say hi to people, making sure I reach out to friends, making sure I do these fabulous events with Valerie, making sure I'm connected and flowing. So the witch here is about the power I have to manipulate my environment, my reality, and then live in it 1000%. So following with that, we have, this is badass. I've been practicing yoga for over 20 years. I can't do this shit. This is amazing. Headstands are like, my head's popping, it's coming off my shoulders, and then this chick just gets right up there. So it's pretty cool. So here, this card is card 3, key 3 in the major arcana is the Empress card. So the tower here says to unplug and relax for a spell. It's time you took a step back and spent some quality time with your one true best friend, yourself. Look up some yoga videos on YouTube. Try out guided meditation with Valerie. Read a book from a genre you might not usually read. Take a morning stroll around your neighborhood and discover places you've never been before. When we take the time needed to recharge, we're paying the greatest respect to ourselves. So while the our author is talking about different ways to do it, it is in fact showing one of the most difficult things I could imagine doing. And is this pose. I mean, seriously, it's physically uncomfortable. I get anxious when I used to try to do them. I just stopped doing them because I don't like them. So we go from the tower moment, which I can't get out of my head what it means in the major arcana. Is kind of like, oh, that one got me on the side. Didn't know that was coming. It can be big or small, but it can also be good. If I go to the dentist and the dentist said, oh girl, we got to drill out like 6 teeth. We're looking at crowns. We're looking at like $15,000. But I go in and they're like, oh, I was looking at the wrong x-rays. You look good. That's a tower moment. Tower moments can come in any way and any level. So tower moments can be great. Now this chick has absolutely gotten control of her body and mind, because yoga is a lot of mind for me, and gotten into this pose, and God knows how long she's sitting here doing it. And then we apologies, I did couple these with tarot cards. This particular, the Tower Tarot card, came with the Cozy Witch, which is the Fool card. And I pulled I like pulling together because it gives me a clear meaning. The Fool card, she's standing in front of the mirror, her kitty cat's down there. Just, I know, it's such a fun deck. So with the Tower card and the Fool card, anything you choose to make requires you to have, I'm hearing the word purchase. It's not buying. It's like, if you have purchase on a cliff, you have a strong hold on the cliff. Your hands have purchase. So purchase here with the Fool and the Tower is knowing, okay, I'm seeing 4 legs, fur and claws. Every step down, maybe it's a cat, the claws come out, but they're walking on flat surface. Every step, the claws come out. They know they need to maintain their grip. So if anyone is trying to maintain their grip on reality right now, the present moment may seem stressful or incredibly joyous and you just don't want to float away. It's okay to feel how you feel. Anytime you feel it, it's legitimate and it's valid. Now, what you do with those feelings, how you move forward after feeling, is totally up to you. And it's okay in the tower moment to take a break. You think she got up there and stood there and now she's down in 3 seconds? Hell no. She had to get in her mind to get into this position, feel her body move into it, structure herself to remain in it, and then fucking resolve to stay there. Now that's the hard part. That's the tower. But the Fool with the Tower card says you can do it, because the Fool does not have a blueprint. No one said to the Fool, here's your here's your list of, what's that when you read when you're playing a game and it tells you how to do it, the rules. Here's a list of rules. I don't read the rules. I never remember what that's called. The Fool just does it, right? So no one's telling the Fool that this particular purchase or yoga pose is too hard. The Fool just does it. And if we can just back up for a second with the Witch card, I pulled the Moon card. This is so cute. Full moon, she's on her roof, she's got a book. That's the Moon card here. I love it. So the Moon card with the Witch, which we talked about the Witch, but the Moon card is, to me, backing it up with, you are 1000% correct. Everyone's sitting in this room believing what they believe, because who is going to claw inside your head, pull out the bits like this is even possible and go, oh, that's a lie. Oh, that's not true. Why are you thinking that? No, it's all real and it's all yours and only yours. Because unless you spill the beans on what you're thinking, or someone gets in there, which I've never met, I hang out pretty much with only readers. No one has ever threatened to do anything like that. And I've never met someone that could, because I don't believe humans are made to abuse other humans. So I don't think it's going to happen anymore. Sorry, I probably need to deliver all that. But with the moon card, it is to be saying you are safely in your mind. And if you have a thought and you're like, oh, should I have thought that? Is that bad? Is my moral compass wonky? Who the fuck cares? The important thing is you have the freedom to think. Now you've got the freedom to rethink on that and decide on your action. You know, really embrace the freedom that we have. I see a lot of women in the room. We didn't always have the freedom to vote. Just a tidbit, and now we do. I'm just asking, and any freedom that you are given, to exercise that freedom, to really make the most of it. So when you have the freedom of your own thoughts being in your own mind and doing what they want, let them have that freedom to run around and be free. Please don't condemn yourself for certain thoughts. Like, I walk into a room 15 times a day going, why am I in here? Did I need something? That's part of my life. I'm not going to go, oh shit, I think I'm losing my mind. No, because I'm not, because I've always been like this. Be careful and be kind with your mind. It's really important. You let it do what it wants to do. If you almost thought of your mind as a separate entity that had it like spirit, oh my God, like spirit, when you go talk to spirit, you're having a conversation. Well, what if this is spirit? Your mind deserves the respect of being heard and being allowed to say what it needs and wants to say. So just listen like you would listen like a best friend. We just heard that in the card. Your best friend is yourself. That's your mind. Be kind with your mind. Be kind with yourself. We're all the three of pentacles, body, mind, and spirit. This is it. And I say YOLO, and that doesn't mean go ride the motorcycle. It means respect it. You only live once, so respect what you got. Work it, you know? So, okay. Love Amanda Lovelace and Janina Medeiros, who did these decks. Love them, Cozy Witch, Tarot, and Oracle. Valerie, I think
Love that. I love when you just said, YOLO doesn't mean go do something wild. It means you only live once, so respect this life. Respect. Oh, I really like that take. I love that. All right, I think we should do. We got time. Let's do some more oracle cards. But before we do that, I want to prep you for what comes after the oracle card or after the card reading is a Q&A session. The Q&A session is you get to ask Elizabeth and myself. It's a Ask Me Anything kind of session. Now, this is not intended to be a personal reading. This is not, should I break up with that guy? But this is more questions about a general question. What do you two psychics think about clairvoyancy, or what's the best way to develop my psychic abilities? Big general questions that can apply to the whole group. So you might want to be thinking about those. What have you always wanted to ask a psychic? That's coming up next after we complete the reading. So get your questions ready for the Ask Me Anything session, the question and answer. All right, I'm going to pull.
Can I ask a question before you go on?
Yes.
Is that okay? I'm sorry. I know I'm breaking decorum here.
Here we go. No, go for it.
When I first saw the advertisement that came up for this that said two witchy women, whatever it was, I was like, yes, I want to do this. I didn't fully understand what the meeting was today. And there was something about paying, like you would pay extra and there's a different kind of reading or something. And is that accurate?
Yes.
Okay, and
So
what's that?
So if you had paid the $40 level, then we would be giving you a personal reading in a group setting. That's why it's discounted.
Okay.
So
Is it helpful to this group if I go do that? Like, does it make
completely up to you? That's what you.
I've never done anything like this before, so I don't know, and I didn't fully understand it. But like, can I just mute you guys and go pay for that and then jump back into the meeting?
Absolutely, and then the two of us will give you an individual reading, and the whole group will benefit from whatever messages come through.
Okay, so I'm gonna take one for the team. I'm gonna give one for the team. So so I don't know how that's all gonna work, but I will see you guys in a minute. Okay.
Okay. All right.
Everybody wish me luck. Wish me luck.
Okay. So I think we'll keep this short then, Elizabeth, if that's okay with you, so that we can go ahead and accommodate giving that full reading. The deck I'm going to next is Dark Goddess, and I want to preface this. This deck is called Dark Goddess, and it says, are you ready and willing to re-engage with the guidance of your inner wisdom? Each card in this deck will illuminate the the majesty and potential of your shadow self to bring about a more powerful sense of positivity and change in your life. So I have been hearing a lot of talk. It's just started to kick up again about doing shadow work. And I just want to, before I pull from this deck, give my interpretation of shadow work, because I do feel it's a little bit different from mainstream interpretation. Shadow work is the idea of digging in the shadows, digging up the oftentimes things related to trauma. Why am I this way? Let me go dig in my past and figure out what this horrible thing may have happened to me or may have been bestowed upon me that makes this thing about myself that I don't like happen and show up in my life. And that's the idea of shadow work. Let me figure out these things that I don't like about myself, figure out where they came from, and then uproot them, get rid of them. I don't see shadow work doing it that way as beneficial. That's just my personal take on it. I feel like, yes, is it beneficial to know where, let's see, tendency of pulling away from someone. Maybe you're in a love relationship, and as soon as things get serious, you're hightailing it out of there. Do you want to know where that comes from? Absolutely, do the work. I differ with the once you figure out where it comes from, you need to spend time with it, because I feel like spending too much time with it is just going to make that thing keep attracting to your life. So I feel like once you figure out what is present in your shadow, why you are the way you are, it's like, oh, that's why I did that. Okay, I'm ready to let it go. I feel like all of the shadow work should be, I've identified it. I'm not going to spend any more time with it. I have these tools. How do I let it go? How do I cut ties? How do I wash it away? So I differ a little bit. I don't like to spend time in the shadows. I look in there, I see what's there, and I'm like, come on to the light. I spend my time in the light dealing with it. So with that being said, we are going to go to this because shadow work has been coming up a lot in the community. So maybe some of you are dealing with that and you just need guidance on how do I better navigate these things that are coming up for me. I'm doing a lot of talking today, y'all. I hope it's enjoyable because I'm kind of getting tired of hearing myself talk. So let's go. I'm pulling a card from Dark Goddess Oracle cards, and the card that I pulled is Nyx Respite. She looks like a queen, some type of royalty on that throne. Let's see what her message is for the group. Again, there's my glasses, a little incantation. This deck, Dark Goddess, is from the same person who did Witch's Wisdom. Shadowed figures cross the night, secrets shared, no need for fright. Within her arms now rest and heal. There's that healing word again. Those to trust, she will reveal. By the power of the Dark Goddess in me, protection in place, blessed be. So the Dark Goddess guidance, shh, you're giving away all your secrets. It's all too easy to confide in someone you wish to trust, especially when you are feeling vulnerable. Remember that appearances can be deceptive. You would be wise to be watchful and to, I don't agree with this part, so I'm not going to read it. Nyx calls to you across the night skies to find comfort and respite from she who is the mother of all creatures. She understands that you have endured a long, dark night of the soul and wishes to take you into her confidence. This sounds exactly like what you need at this time. If Nyx knows that you too are good at gleaning information from others to use for your own purpose, she will use all that you have revealed to her against you. I don't like the vibe of this at all. So be mindful of how and who you share any particulars with. Take this opportunity to rest, regroup, and journey deep within the Nyx as your guide. I'm going to give a twist on this. I feel like this energy is coming into our reading today for a reason. Respite is the main reason. The whole part of making sure you are aware of who you are sharing your secrets with, your vulnerability with, that makes sense. Because a lot of times when we are doing that deep work and we feel vulnerable and we feel hurt, we want to let the whole world know why we were hurt. We want to let the whole world know why we tend to run when love gets too close for us, because now we feel like we have a reason and we want to share that with everyone. So I feel like the actual message that's coming through from spirit for me now, regardless of what I just read from the text, is just use discernment, especially when you are in a vulnerable place, especially when you are doing the inner work and things that come up. Use discernment with who you share that with, and more specifically, especially use discernment on the advice that comes to you on how to deal with these things, because that's going to be really important. Are you in a vulnerable place and you're just listening to anybody who has advice to give? Or are you in a vulnerable place and you are saying, I'm going to link up with spirit because spirit is my strength, and I'm going to pass everything through the filter of spirit before I accept that and apply that to my life, because that's going to be most beneficial to you while you're going through this. It just goes on to talk about how other goddesses that Nyx has shown up as. It says that she's also known as the goddess of the night. She is mother of all creatures of the night, including vampires, lichen, werewolves, etc. All can go to her and find comfort, respite, and bear their souls in confidence. There is no spirit entity who is good and benevolent who will allow you to come to her in a vulnerable moment and then use it against you. That's why I was like, whoa, we don't do that here. I don't know what the creator of this deck was thinking, but spirit world, divine entities, beings of light, never use your vulnerabilities and your confidence and your secrets against you. But this is letting you know that you don't want to do that to others either. If you are the confident, the rock, the strong person that other people come to, don't ever take what they have shared with you and trust and use it against them in a moment of vulnerability. That can cause far more harm than you think in the moment. So that's what I have to say. That was a hard one. Reading from these darker decks is really hard to get to the meaning from spirit. For me, I wouldn't say hard, challenging. But I feel like we got there, and I feel like there's a reason why we're being challenged with these particular cards today, Elizabeth. So I'm turning it over to you. Woo.
So this flows really well. So I have card 43 from the Cozy Witch Oracle, and 43 equals 4 + 3 = 7. That's the Chariot. But we have Spaceship, and each of the card in the Oracle and in the Tarot deck offers just a few little words. And this one says, "Don't be afraid to sing." Now, Valerie's message, and I agree, that was a hard card, man. Wow. About what you share and where you get your message from. Now listen to this Spaceship. Let me show you too. This is, I don't know if I held it up. It's so pretty. It's three mermaids, I think. It's just glorious, and it's a bit cosmic, like they're in the cosmos. But it says, "You've been made to believe that your voice, that your unique point of view in this world isn't worth very much. Let me tell you, that couldn't be further from the truth. Your words are worth all the stars in the night sky. So don't forget to sing whenever you have the chance. Your voice is powerful enough to sink a dozen spaceships." And what Valerie said about taking information someone gives you and then sharing it when you shouldn't, doing something with it that you shouldn't, that's the idea of sinking a dozen spaceships. A rising tide lifts all boats, but you drop a bomb in a harbor, you'll sink all those boats too. So just be real careful and be discerning about where you get the info from and how you share it. And especially for readers in the room, Valerie chose not to share a segment of that guidebook. I'm glad. I didn't like where it was going. And it's her discernment that led her to that choice, and knowing that not all information that she gets has to be shared. Even in the moment of reading a book, you don't have to share it. It's totally up to you. Remember your best friend, the mind? That's that conversation that you have and you decide, do I want to say this? I will take physical pauses in conversations, go, because I'm going to say it, and that loud voice is going, you better not say that. And I'll take that break, take that pause, take it. It's a freedom of choice. And as a woman, living in Texas, I am going to exercise freedom of choice every moment I have, especially with an organ that those fuckers can't get to, my brain. All right, sorry about that, get a little political there. So with Spaceship card that I pulled, I also pulled 3 tarot. From the 3 tarot, we start with the Queen of Pentacles, And I'll show you the cards in a minute. We move to key 0, the Cozy Witch, which is the Fool, and then key 3, the Empress. So we're going to take the message from the Oracle and it's going to show us, it's going to elaborate, expound upon what the cards are saying. And this is the Queen of Pentacles. She's coming up to her door. The witch is in. That's what the sign on the door says. She's got her coffee. She's ready to go. There is no need to sacrifice. You can have it all, the card says. We move to the Fool card. It's a woman, again, we saw this earlier, standing in front of her mirror, and it says, take a chance. For each morning is a new beginning. We're visiting that with the rune de Gaz that we had before. We're seeing it again. And the third card, the Empress. The Empress here is a nursing, she's nursing. There is beauty to be found in every experience. One thing I will say about tarot is I don't make assumptions. Women typically see nursing. I feel it's safe to assume that there is their biological child, but we do have wet nurses. So there's no reason to assume anything that we see. So in this card, it's a freedom of nutrients, nurturing, right? It's free. Breast milk is free. As long as I've got water to drink, I can pump it out. It's free. It's my choice if I share it. The choice again, guys. So when we look at spaceship, and the idea that we do have a voice, we are valid, we are justified in speaking, and that we fucking matter, and that we can share that voice when and how we want, if we want. That's a lot of freedom right there. We couple that with the Queen of Pentacles. Now, the Queen of Pentacles, while we are talking about thought, traditionally the Pentacles lean more into what we can touch, tactile. We have the earth, we have soil, we feel air, but also lust and passion are considered to be traits of Pentacles. So we do move slightly out of the tangible realm. Now, in that, we are full of passion. We can be when we speak, when we choose to uplift ourselves, to support a cause, to attend a meetup. We choose to show how we feel in our actions and our words. And the Queen of Pentacles is saying, you are right to feel the way you do in your actions. They are sound because she is the Queen of Pentacles. The Queen, in my book, the Queen and the King, the Emperor and the Empress are peers. There is not a hierarchy. Because they chose to use gender, I'm choosing not to use a hierarchy. So moving out of that personal reference. So from the Queen, we know we're right. We know we're doing what we want to do and what we should do. We move to the Fool, who doesn't have a freaking clue, just this blind faith that it'll work out, right? Which is great. I need more of that in my life because really I can't control the future and I can't change the past. So all I have is the present. That's the Fool. That is the Fool, traipsing through the major arcana, setting up their life course, understanding what it is to live, and only doing it by the moment that they're actually living in. Not going, this is what happened, or this is the character I'll meet next. They're just in that moment. So when we think, oh, I just said something that I shouldn't have said, and I just sank a dozen spaceships, well, you fucking said it. You can't go back and change it. So live in the moment of how do I move forward? Be your own boss. Know that you are deciding for yourself, and that ripple effect will affect others around you, sure. But you're starting with yourself. You are your origin story. You sink a dozen spaceships, you sunk them. You might just as easily have sunk aliens or evil interstellar spaceships that needed to be sunk. Just don't beat yourself up because really it's already happened. So beating yourself up isn't going to get you to a healthy next step. And then we finish with the Empress. Well, my God, I could just not even talk because she's just the shit. The Empress is a card I see where I think this is a woman who will just say hi if you're walking by her. This is a woman who will stop and kneel on the ground if you have fallen to help you up. And this is a woman who knows to ignore you if you don't want to be heard. Because there are moments where we just need to scream and we don't want anybody telling us what we need to do next because fuck them, it's my life. And that's the Empress telling you to say, yeah, I don't want you here. Go away. This is me. Don't control me. Don't make more laws. Don't. I don't want your guidelines. I have my own. But the Empress, oh, goosebumps, doesn't actually need to convey that through words because she is the entity that you don't mess with. You ever walked into a room and go, oh, not going over there. They're friendly enough, but that is some energy that's way more powerful than I want to go to. That's the Empress, who can then turn that dial right down to 0 and have everybody in the room flocking to her because she's decided that they should. Sorry, going off on a tangent. I love the Empress. But with this spaceship energy, it's such an odd card, like spaceships, but there really is a choice. Okay, I'm getting a visual. I'm very visual. I see a boat, a wooden boat like you see in a Six of Swords, and it's sprung a leak, but it's a slow leak. So do I stop paddling to get to the shore to fix a slow leak, or do I keep paddling maybe a little bit faster and let that leak go? I have to decide. I have to know, but I have the treasure of time to make that decision. And guys, please don't rush yourself. Also, give yourself that breath. I started this reading at the end with give yourself a breath. Take a breath. Give yourself time, presence. You only have right now. You don't have the past and you don't know the future. You only have right now. So breathe through it, then act. Just be secure. Okay, I'm gonna stop. I feel like I'm going off on another thread there.
I think it was great. It was great. I love it. I love it. Okay, so we do have a participant now who is going to get a one-on-one reading, well, one-on-one in a group setting from both of us, and that'll be a 10-minute read, 10 minutes, about 5 minutes from each of us based upon whatever question or whatever you want the reading about. Before we do that, should we end with one more Oracle card for the group?
Yeah, sure.
All right,
I love it.
let's go for it. So this will be our final card to wrap up. I'm just going to spend a minute and ask Spirit, what does this group need to hear in conclusion to kind of send us off, wrap up all of the messages that were received today. And I will pull a card from my spell casting oracle cards deck. Spell casting. I feel like that's kind of keeping with the witchy theme. All right. What does this group need to hear in conclusion today? Fucking love it. Freedom. Freedom is the card. Now look at the picture because she doesn't look like she's free yet. She's depicted within a beautiful cage. A cage that almost looks multi-dimensional. I don't know. It looks like she could step through it if she wants. So let's see what this card is about. Anybody need more freedom in your life? Me, please. Freedom. The guidance. Your power is eternal, and yet you're held down by the heaviness of burdens tied into emotional commitment. Burdens tied into emotional commitment. Somebody fears your power, having recognized your full potential on all levels, and has led you to buy into false doubt, worry, and insecurity. And that somebody that fears your power could be you, doesn't have to be external. Restriction and control has dimmed your spirit and suffocated the expression of your soul. It's time to fly the nest and release yourself from those who have clipped your wings. Each of us has been gifted with free will. I think Elizabeth was just talking about that. Each of us has been gifted with free will. So rise freely above anything that has enslaved and imprisoned you, and allow your loaded mind to be liberated as your heart and soul soar to new heights. I love that. There's an incantation, so I will read this. Oh, it says hold a feather during a full moon on a Sunday. Now I'm going to say tomorrow is Sunday and that full moon was close enough that y'all can do this and it'll still work, feather or no feather. Soul doth stir from prison deep. Confinement fades, it's not to keep. Prisoner of mind and actions, relationship add to factions. Wishes made for liberation. Place in feather to awaken, throw in air upon the breeze, restrictions now lifted with ease. Stars determine destiny, yours to claim for liberty. Now throw the feather into the air and say, gratefully accept the magic of you, of protection to assist in all that I do. Lend me the courage, build power in me, assist my transistence, so mote be. So, freedom and your own ability to claim that freedom and begin living in a more free way. All right, Elizabeth, what say you?
This is cool. So this I love how the cards follow mine. So this is 22 or 4, the Emperor that we have. Oh, actually 22 is a master number, but I don't know the meaning behind it. Like angel numbers, we also have what's called master numbers, and this is one of them. She has like puppeteering strings coming down. I can't think of what you call that. I think it's puppeteering. And so she's on books. It's called Library. take control of your own narrative. And this echoes what Valerie was just saying. So it says, someone else is trying to call the shots in your life. They think they can waltz in and control your every move. And this was someone creating self-doubt in Valerie's card, right? Because there's different ways to manipulate someone. And the best way to control is to take away their power, a group or an individual. It's the best way. They think they can waltz in and control your every move, and you need to say no to their manipulation. It might seem tempting to relinquish control, but if you give someone else power over your narrative, chaos will ensue, and it will be all in their favor, not yours. The stories inside of you make you a library on the verge of bursting, but only if you're the one to pick up the pen. Oh God, I love that. That's so true. I was actually thinking this morning about, I saw Oprah Winfrey once, like a long time ago, and this woman had just won the lottery and she was a guest on Oprah Winfrey. And cute little conversation, and then there was just a little fluff piece. And then at the very end, Oprah says to this woman, like, personal advice, just out of nowhere. She's like, sign every check, no matter what they tell you. And it was just kind of a weird thing, like, where'd that, and she was serious, like she was really giving personal, Oprah Winfrey gives you advice, you fucking listen, right? So I was like, huh. And just now I was thinking, like, if I had an assistant, but I let that assistant do way more than they should, like I can physically do it, or I can learn how to do it, but I still have an assistant. But if I give up that control of being able to learn and temper and narrate my own life, then I lose the control, period, and chaos will ensue. It's kind of like, okay, flash over to another celebrity. Paris Hilton, like, again, a long time ago, over 10 years, got shit-faced, got behind the wheel of her car and drove to get a hamburger and had to go to jail. I don't know if y'all remember all this. And at the time, it was like, it came out, they were trying to kind of play it up like she had the choice to not do it, but didn't have the concept of having to suffer the repercussions of doing it. Because she's never had to fucking do anything. She doesn't pay her own bills. Does she know what a mortgage is? Does she understand the law of equity? No, probably not. But unless you experience these little tiny things that everyone else has to go through, you lose the ability for your own narrative, and someone else starts writing it for you. And that's the chaos. For me, that's the chaos. Now I can sit on my ass for 3 days and not think about anything and just be a jelly bean, but that's my narrative for 3 days, and I'm comfortable with that. I don't need someone filling in gaps or making it sparkle. I want 3 days of being a jelly bean. That's part of my journal. So that was good. I love the cards, how they come together, like the same messages.
Yeah. That's so interesting to me. As you were going through that message, with the card being freedom, the one I pulled, and then you were going through that message about feeling repressed and not letting somebody write your story. The idea that popped into my mind is, what's going on with y'all? Because we're reading for the collective. And I feel like somebody in the collective is in some way is feeling stifled, restricted. I can't get there from where I'm at. Whatever that is, those last two messages were specifically for you. I fully feel that from spirit, because two messages like that back to back, that's so beautifully intertwined on that same theme. I feel like that was speaking directly to someone who might, for some reason, whatever's going on in your personal life, feel like they just can't get to where they want to get to. So I hope that message resonated. Yeah, go ahead.
And we, as readers, collaboratively pulled that in and delivered that to the room. And that, to me, not speaking for Valerie, is what I'll just say is the universe or source, right? You know, you go up to a buffet of food. I use food a lot, a buffet of food. And unless there's a label, I don't know what that food is, right? So the universe here is saying, here's everything all labeled, and you get to see it, and you get to deliver it to this room, like these messages, right? But the fact that Valerie and I can land on the same points and deliver those messages, I mean, because I will go into a reading and give the tarot rooms I run. I'm like, if you get a reading that's a 180 from mine, I want you to deliver it. We're not here to fucking agree. We're here to deliver messages, and the universe is going to give us each a piece to a puzzle, and we deliver it all, and we see how that puzzle fits together. Now we've only got 2 people putting a puzzle together today, but look how beautifully our stories intertwine. I mean, we don't walk around thinking the same thoughts, but in this 2-hour block, we certainly are. And that to me is like the glue of the universe and the beautiful sparkle of the cosmos kind of bleeding through here. I just love it. I just love cards, and I love doing all this. Oh my God, I love it.
Me too, me too. Yay. All right, so we're gonna do the individual reading next for Lori. Do I have the name right? Lori? Okay, for Lori, we're going to do that reading and then we'll open it up to question and answer. So this will be about 10 minutes, 5 minutes from each of us, and we'll weave our messages together and let spirit come through as well. You get not only the cards, but you get our psychic abilities, and spirit is on deck to answer your questions. So Lori, we're going to stop the recording because this is.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so the winner is Rue, and we will reach out to her later and have her schedule her one-on-one reading with both Elizabeth and myself. She won a 30-minute reading with the both of us. And now we're ready for the Ask Me Anything. Are there any questions? Any questions for these two psychics?
I already know what you're gonna ask.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, I'll ask you a question. Was there anything that you guys have learned that you did not expect that really caught you by surprise since you started down this sort of path?
Tarot reading?
Tarot reading for you, I would assume. Channeling for Valerie, yes.
Yes. For me, it's my I don't think I questioned it in the beginning, but to see how much potential I have for communing with others, like just being cool to talk with others and spend time with others, way more than my comfort zone has ever allowed me. I've realized this about myself too, but I can do that now with tarot. I used to push people away before tarot, like hardcore. I let them get to be just enough of a friend that it was comfortable to call or whatever. But if they wanted more than that, and I didn't even know I was doing it until now that I read tarot. And my life has changed in other ways as well. That's allowed me to be more open. But I have a few friends that I have to be like, they're in your life and it's good to actually say that, because I still get this knee-jerk reaction of push them away, they're too close. Push them away, they're too close. But with tarot, it's just made me want to have more energy in my life and to be closer to people and to tell them I love them. Like I sent out a text to my whole family this morning. I don't think I've ever done this. And I said, I love you, and put their name, because a cute little video had come up from a family thread. Anyway, the point is I'm more in touch with myself, so I'm able to be more in touch with others. And that's totally tarot for me. Like Valerie has started at tarot and has gone out into the cosmos and channels, and I want to stay with tarot. I'm terrified of seriously of moving too far beyond this, but I recognize that about myself. I love that about myself, and I nurture that about myself. And that again is tarot has shown me that key 8 inner strength. So yes, tarot has made me a more powerful person that's actually more open and responding to others as well, more loving. So I think that answered your question.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, wait, did I say it?
I would say anything that surprised me since I began. I think what surprised me was I went into this kind of on a whim, not quite on a whim. I think it was divinely inspired. But my initial thought was, oh, I can help so many people with the messages that are coming through. And Spirit was like, oh, hold on, Valerie, you got some work to do. So I think what was most surprising to me was the self-awareness and the turning within. Like, until I understand what's going on, there's no way I can benefit anyone else. So the idea that the self-growth that happened, the self-awareness that happened, the constant reflection and the constant work, my work will never be done. My work on me will never be done. So understanding that I did not understand I was undertaking such a grand undertaking when I started reading for others. I did not understand how much inner work, self-work was going to come into play when I started reading for others, but I am eternally grateful for it. I am very proud of the person I became, and I don't think I could have moved along such a fast-paced trajectory if I hadn't started as a practitioner trying to share messages with others. So, I mean, even in today's reading, those messages that come through, I'm like, hold up, I think that's a message for me. It's always a constant. I feel like Spirit puts the people in front of me who, yes, can benefit from the message, but also puts the exact right people in front of me so that as I'm channeling those messages, I'm hearing the exact messages that I need for this moment in time on my path. So it's just been a very beautiful confluence, working together, intertwining. That was very surprising and unexpected for me, but I love it. I love every bit of it.
Mm-hmm. It's like it feeds itself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the word.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I like it a lot. And I kind of look at the metaphysical world slightly off from the question, but like I know I like tarot. Like I'm super comfortable with tarot. I want to do this forever. Then Valerie started with tarot and had this natural organic flow into taking those channeled messages and making that the primary modality is her mind. To speak for you, apologies if I'm getting this wrong.
Love it.
As a channeler, right? So the metaphysical community, I think, allows so much freedom because I'm never going to leave the cards. I know if I pick up my deck, no matter what state of mind I'm in, I'll get something. But I know if I don't have that deck, and this could be a block, I don't necessarily want to channel because I like the guideposts that the deck offers me to know where I'm at and where I might be going. Now, Valerie is like the fool floating out there off the cliff going, bring it all in, I'll take everything. I'm a chicken shit. I'm back there safely on the cliff, petting the dog that's still there. You're like, I'm not doing that. Come back and tell me what happened. I am the most like cautious reader I know. Like Valerie mentioned the shadow work. I'm scared shitless of shadow work. I need to go to a workshop. Okay,
Elizabeth, that is so hilarious to me because every reading I've ever had from you, you are channeling. Every single one. I'm like, what is she talking about? She doesn't channel. She's always fucking channeling. And you'll be like, hold on, I know this is what the card says, but I'm seeing, you just did that today, but I'm seeing this image of such and such and such. So to me, that's why we resonate so much because you are always channeling messages and sharing insights and clairvoyant images that you get in your mind, and it adds so much to the cards. The cards are just like a jumping off point for me. So that's hilarious to me that you're like, I'm scared to leave my cards. I'm like, what you talking about? I see you channel all the time. Every reading I've ever been to, you channel. There was one time in my life where I was going to leave tarot. I was like, okay, tarot is enough. I don't want to do the cards anymore. I thought they were a crutch. And I was ready to leave tarot and go do something else. And every time I think about this story, it reminds me of that scene from Brokeback Mountain. Why can't I quit you? That's me in the cards. Why can't I quit you? Because they just kept coming back into my life. And I feel like it's a jumping off point for me. And I think that it's the same way for you, Elizabeth, even if you're not aware of it, because you can pull one card and speak for that card on an hour, unrestricted. Like, that is channeling. I don't know what channeling is if that's not channeling.
I need to tap more into this. I know. I need to. Lori Hewitt. Lori Hewitt is a reader at Awkwardly Zen. She's great. And I've had a couple of readings, and she has suggested, she channeled a message for me saying that she says it's her form that she communes with. We know that the cards are dear to you. And I'm like freaking out when she's reading me this. She suggested to keep my eyes closed while doing a tarot reading. So I still hold my cards and I still put them out, but I don't open my eyes. Oh my God, like she's great. Oh, that she might be a good reader for you to get practical advice for your group to know the financial aspect. She really pulls stuff in that it's like, oh, that makes sense and I can use that shit right now. Like she's very practical, very in the world today. Like how can you do practical channeling? I don't know how you call that. But yeah, I like her.
Yeah, and her modality is speaking to soul counsel. So that's right up the line with those advisors that you have on your team.
Can you put her,
Yeah.
or just her name so I can track her
Yeah,
down?
Jacqueline, can you type that in the chat? Lori Hewitt.
Thank you, Jacqueline. I can't type period. I'm like so slow.
I love, God, it was something you were saying about the tarot cards. Oh, you were saying she told you to close your eyes and then just have them there as you, but I think you do that already because you'll be sitting there and you'll be like, well, the image that's coming to mind is the such and such of such and such, like the Two of Wands. Like without having the card in front of you, you'll have an idea of, oh, that reminds you, you did it earlier. You were like, oh, when you were talking about the veil, that reminds me of the High Priestess. And you kind of talked a little bit about the energy of the High Priestess without ever having drawn that card.
I did.
So
I did.
Girl, I think you're doing it already. I
love
love it.
it. I've learned so much. Okay. We're a good team.
All right. Any other questions?
All right, well, I've got one more. Where's the most unexpected place that you didn't plan on giving a reading, but you ran into someone and they asked for it, you know, like, I don't know, church or something like that, but anything like that?
I have read tarot in church before.
I think Elizabeth's are going to be much more fun because I've heard of all the places she does readings, and I'm like, what? Where? And it's really cool. Every time she says that, it's like, oh, I want to be like Elizabeth. The most unexpected for me would be kind of unexpected, kind of not. So I hosted a Coffee with a Psychic meetup where people show up and I bring my cards.
And you
And so
didn't
I
think you were
was
going to
in-
give a reading?
Well, I thought I was going to give a tarot reading.
Uh,
And what happened was a complete full-blown mediumship reading where I wasn't even pulling the cards and spirits were coming in, and it was really healing for those present because they didn't expect to get a mediumship reading either. They just thought I was going to read from the cards. So kind of sort of,
Cool.
but I don't really do unexpected readings, I guess.
Yeah.
I can't wait
No,
to hear
that's
what
good.
Elizabeth says. Go ahead. What?
The one, I can think of two, but one is transformed. So I was on a plane and I had my tarot cards out and
I
those
love that
stories
one.
like da, right? So I read for the entire crew, not the pilot or the co-pilot. They didn't come back. And I thought, well, these people are into this. Every time I get on a fucking plane, I actually either get my cards out or I don't. Because as a reader, and they really appreciate it. So now I read on planes for people. I also read for passengers if I don't get corralled. They take me to the back of the plane, guys. I go in the back where the stewards hang out and read cards. It's nuts. I'm like, okay. And then I was at Walmart once and I was in the, this one just stuck with me. I was in the customer care line and I don't, the fuck, returning, I don't know if you're turning a horse or something. And the woman's talking to me and I don't normally say I read tarot. I live in a very conservative part of our country. And I don't want to get beat up. So I said to them, would you like a tarot reading? And that woman lit up and listened to everything I said and encapsulated it and spit it back like, wow. Because a lot of times as a reader, and it's totally cool, I will say something and I know that it's not going through, but we all have different lenses in this world. So we get our information differently and I respect that. But sometimes, very rarely, it's like we are in sync. And so I remember that reading, and I remember that I had the courage to say I'm a tarot reader. Because again, guys, imagine if you're not a reader, imagine saying it in areas of our country. Imagine saying anything that the vast majority of people you have to live with every day don't like or don't want to hear about, and then having a voice for it. So I did that. So that made an impression on me and on her. But I swear to God, Valerie used to make shirts. I had one of her shirts. I had two of her shirts actually, but one was I'm a tarot reader in hot pink, or tarot reader in hot pink, I think it was. First time I wore that shirt, I almost had a heart attack. I was so scared. But it gave me that voice, like it helped me to do it. So sorry, longer story. But yeah, those are my two stories that come to mind right now. It's pretty fun. It's a great tool to use to meet people or to be shunned by people. It's kind of a crapshoot, flip a coin.
I love that on an airplane and Walmart of all places. Do you just like, I mean, you've got your cards out and somebody walks by and notices them. Do you just say, do you want a reading? Is that how it?
Yeah, typically, because if they're
so cool.
willing to, if they ask me, I'm going to go ahead and assume that they're friendly towards it. And I can give anybody a reading, it's like, I guess, yeah, because we channel. I am going to start using that word because so I learned the traditional meaning of tarot so that if my intuition was not with me in that moment, I could fall back on the traditional.
Yeah.
Right. So like, great. So easier to go. But listening to you today, Valerie, and I am seeing where I can read for anybody at any time because not everything is based on what I see in the card, but the message I receive from spirit as well that I channel. Yeah. I need to use these words more and be more like wearing a t-shirt that says tarot reader and I almost had a heart attack. I need to say channel, just use that word. I started a meetup group for beginning channeling, actually. I've been running it for a few months now. I just thought of that so that I could better get in touch. So even as a reader of many years, I still have a really hard time getting in touch with certain metaphysical aspects of myself. Like, it can be a little wonky sometimes in the brain, mind.
Now I got to make you that shirt so you can.
I know. Awesome. Because you're not still selling shirts though, right?
I do on occasion. I still got all the equipment so I can make them.
They're fun. Valerie shirts are fun. Send the ideas to Valerie. They're fun. They're fun shirts. Big deck energy. Right? Didn't you have
That's one
that?
of my favorite. Did I tell you about that shirt? So I made that shirt before my grandkids were old enough to understand what it meant or even read.
Mm.
And it's like old tattered now. And I was wearing it around, and my grandson, who was then like 9 or 10, read it and kind of went to the side with Gigi, what's your shirt say? And I was like, oh, nothing. And I kind of covered it up, and I don't wear that shirt anymore.
That's funny. You know what? I have a podcast. I just realized this. I named it Big Deck Energy. I just realized
Yeah,
that.
I know.
That is funny.
Yeah, I've listened to like 1 or 2 episodes of your podcast, and I love it. I was like, yes, I love that title.
Gosh, Valerie has infused herself through the world. I didn't even realize your energy is there in the title of the podcast. I love it. Oh my God. All right, cool.
Any other questions?
Greg's like, maybe not.
Look like we're good, maybe.
All
All
right.
right. Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you all for showing up and hanging out with us for this extended period of time on a Saturday afternoon. We are so blessed to have your company and have you hang out with us. And we hope you benefited from the readings and from the messages from Spirit. Jacqueline has been posting a lot of information. I don't know if some of you are, well, Lori, you're new to me. So maybe you followed Elizabeth before you found my group. So wherever you found us, swap that and make sure you're joined up with the other meetup group so you can keep in touch with both of us. Elizabeth and I have been talking. I have a weekly Magical Monday manifestation where we do group card pulls for the collective, and Elizabeth is going to join me on occasion. So we'll get those dates out there and let you know when you can tune in to see both of us do group pulls on those Magical Monday manifestations. All right. Anything else you want to share with the group, Elizabeth, before we say goodbye?
Just check our calendars. We each run multiple free events every week. Free, dudes. Just show up. That's all you got to do. And they're based in the metaphysics, but they're varying subjects. So please check each of our calendars because we have a lot of good stuff. We put a lot of time and energy into our stuff, and we offer it to you. So please enjoy it. It's a buffet. That was it. Did you? No, you didn't freeze. God, you can stay still.
Thank you.
Sure.
Oh wait,
that's so funny. I froze there at the end. I was like, I made it through the entire event, and then I froze at the end. All right.
Oh, you did? I thought you said that. I thought you got that still. I was like, damn, you can get still, because then you started moving again.
That's too funny.
Okay.
Thank you, Jacqueline.
Jacqueline, thank you.
Bye, Elizabeth.
Okay, bye. Wait a minute. Was it end? Leave.